2020. I'll start off by reading our preamble. Good evening. As Chairman of the Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen, I am declaring that an emergency exists, and I am invoking the provisions of RSA 91-A:2(3)B. Federal, state, local officials have determined the gatherings of 10 or more people pose a substantial risk to our community in its continuing efforts to combat the spread of COVID-19. In concurring with their determination, I also find that this meeting is imperative to the continued operation of town government and services, which are vital to public safety and confidence during this emergency. As such, this meeting will be conducted without a quorum of this body physically present in the same location. At this time, I also welcome members of the public accessing this meeting remotely. Even though this meeting is being conducted in a unique manner under unusual circumstances, the usual rules of conduct and decorum apply. Any person found disrupting this meeting will be asked to cease the disruption. Should the disruptive behavior continue thereafter, that person will be removed from this meeting. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. So we'll start the meeting by taking roll call attendance. And when each member states their name, please state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. We'll start with Linda.
Yes, Linda Murray. I'm here alone in a room in my house.
Dave Bowers.
In my house with a wife, Chrissy, nearby.
Dave Senical.
Yeah, I'm by myself at my house.
Paul.
Good evening, Paul O'Brien. I'm here in my house by myself.
And I'm Brad Harriman. I'm also here in my house by myself. Okay, moving on to our agenda. Mr. Pino, do we have a need for non-public this evening?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. We do not.
Okay. So on a new business, proposed budget hearing review. I believe you sent out a email to us this afternoon, Mr. Pino, and you want to go over that with us?
I can try to take you through this. First of all, I'd like to let you all know that we did receive word at about 5 o'clock this afternoon. Healthcare is expected to go up 7.5% effective July. We budgeted 8.5% increase effective in July, so we should see a reduction in that line. Currently, across all funds, the general fund with capital outlay is $15,035,662 for an increase of $784,563. Water fund, $1,991,523 for an increase of $149,998. The electric fund, $10,039,946. Sewer fund, $1,740,172. Top Whalen, $237,178. Across all funds, that's a budget of $356,546 for an increase of $271,630 or 0.97%. When we spoke the other day, we discussed going through and trying to make some adjustments. You will see in this sheet that you have, healthcare has an asterisk to it. It's because we've got more work to do. Town clerk has an asterisk to it. I haven't gotten to the wage adjustment on that line yet. Tax collector. I did speak with Brenda briefly, and we feel that we would be able to make a reduction in the tax collector's line of $3,500. Going down next to technology. Again, one of the driving forces this year is to try and transition our part-time IT person to a full-time employee effective in April. One of the items that we'd like to do is pay for the upgrade to the Cognos server immediately. That's a cost of $16,400. This is a must-do, and I think we will have some funds to be able to do that, and I'll explain those momentarily. The fire department had a conversation with the chief today. I'm requesting that we reduce the vehicle maintenance line by $5,800. And I'm requesting that we reduce the professional development line by $3,500. Ambulance, just waiting to finalize the contract and the CPI increase. Police department, waiting for the police commissioners to get the wage adjustments for the non-union staff. Communications, same thing, wage adjustment for non-union staff. Going down to DPW administration, and I apologize, I didn't have the opportunity to speak to Dave Ford on this topic, but I'm proposing that we eliminate the overtime for the administrative assistant, $1,764. Scrolling down, animal control, same thing, police commission needs to make an adjustment on that. Agencies, you should have received an email. There's a request that's come in. That request is to reduce the senior meals line by $25,000. If you have any questions regarding that, Amy will be able to speak. We also had a conversation regarding welfare and direct rent. We believe, based on the trends that we've seen historically, we think we can reduce that line by $10,000 and still have adequate funding. Library, we have got to wait and hear from the trustees regarding wage adjustment for their staff based on recommendations that we've put going forward. So those are the summaries of the reductions we're proposing. Now, we're also proposing that we remove 3 capital outlay items. The Abenaki engineering for the motor house for $25,000. The Libby boat launch for $35,000. And the library website for $15,000. We've had obviously we've had a unique year with COVID-19. Between many of our lines, professional development, granted we still have more bills coming in relative to diesel and gasoline, Parks and Recreation Administration line, our beaches, our programs within Parks and Rec, and savings with the capital outlay for the pickup. We've got a balance in those accounts of $151,836. So we have ample funds in those accounts to be able to pick that up. Beaches alone, we've got a balance of $20,000. Programs, we've got a balance of $70,000. And the pickup, we've got a balance of $10,000. So we've got $100,000 sitting there where we would be able to complete this work right now and take it off the tax rate for 2021 and provide a better service. So with that said, all of those items together adds up to be a proposed reduction of $140,964, which would reduce the general fund request from $784,563 to $643,599. Just to reiterate, a couple of the big drivers on this budget: New Hampshire retirement system, an increase of $110,000 effective July with rate increases. Health insurance, right now, we're looking at $134,000 increase. That will go down once I can get the calculation done tomorrow. And long-term debt, we're seeing an increase of $239,542. Those three items alone are $300,000 worth of increase. With that said, I'd like to be able to try and answer any questions you have or any guidance you may have relative to the budget.
Okay. Yeah, Jim, one off the top of my head here, that $140,964 reduction that you came up with on these ones you just talked about, would that number be taken off of the number you told us what our budget is of $28,356,546? Or does that number already have that $140,000 taken out?
That is not factored into it at all, Brad, at this point.
Okay. So our $271,000 increase would be cut by basically $140,000 then for our increase if we go with those numbers there. Is that correct?
Correct.
64. Linda.
Yeah, Jim, I was looking at the spreadsheet you gave us on November 4th, and it had the amount in the executive budget of $426,361. Yet my September spreadsheet had only $420,000, and I don't know where that extra $6 came from. I understand how you got from your November 4th to the budget you just sent to us, but I don't know what caused that $6,000 discrepancy between what I had in September and what you have on your sheet.
Might have been Wolfeboro Waters.
No, that was in before. I looked at that. Yeah, Wolfeboro Waters was in there. So that, I mean, you don't have to answer me tonight unless you know it. I just wanted to point that out. The other thing that I noticed coming down, because I'm assuming that this spreadsheet is going to go off to the budget committee, on number 10, miscellaneous operating expenses, we have spent some money, and it was my understanding that we were going to take some of the repairs from that Libby wall work out of there. So before it goes over, I'd like that figure to be just about 5,000, which is what we had talked about.
Yeah, so the report that I have in front of me right now shows that there's $1,576 spent out of that account right now. I can look further into that. I believe the $6,000 that you're referring to in the executive budget, I believe that is the reduction of the part-time person for the chamber.
No, because it is an increase. When the full amount for the chamber was in there, it was $420,000. It's my $442. If I take out the chamber, I would be down to $415,142. So I'm not sure where the $6 came from, but I mean, you don't have to answer me tonight. I can't go from one sheet to the next to the next.
Yeah. So the other one is insurance. Insurance is showing a $6,217 increase, and that is based on the October 16th report that we received from Primex.
And my books, it shows a $6,217 increase.
So that isn't it.
No, I mean, we don't have to spend the time tonight looking at it. I can call you tomorrow. We can figure it's either something didn't add right or there is something still wrong in that budget.
Dave Senecal?
Yeah, Jim, you mentioned those 3 capital items right at the beginning. Those are coming out of the budget, or are they going to be done or utilized with the money we have on hand. Is that what I understand? Like the
Yeah,
Libby
so
ramp?
what I'd like to do, what I'm proposing is we use some of the funds that we've saved in 2019, or excuse me, 2020 because of COVID. You know, we didn't have beaches operating fully. We didn't operate programs. Professional development has been reduced. I think we all know that the boat launch at the Libby is in dire need of repairs.
For sure.
We've seen the motor house for the Abenaki.
Yep.
It's in terrible condition. These are projects that we can get off the plate right now and be done with.
Okay.
Relative to the library, if you recall, the library was proposing a reimbursement to the town for that website.
Yep.
So again, we expend the money or encumber the money now, expend it, and we would get the reimbursement back from the library going forward.
Good. I'll agree to that.
Okay, all set, Dave? Paul?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Jim, for those explanations. So I was going to ask a question about the Libby reimbursement. Can we, not for tonight, but can we have like quarterly reminder meetings, Libby, library, Wolfeboro Community TV, and there's a swirl about calendars. When this is done, can we just kind of have a calendar that says every quarter we're going to kind of just check on things that we were supposed to do or have done? I'll park that there. You can think about that. So if I understand you correctly, Jim, and this answers Dave's question, we're gonna take out those three items: Abenaki, Libby boat launch, library website. That's 75 grand. And we're also going to add to that Wolfeboro Community TV. You're just stepping all over us here. We're going to add to that the technology line of 16.4.
Yeah,
So
no, as long as you're not counting on it, I'm fine. It'll be up and running.
So Timothy, you guys are, I'm just gonna say out louder to him. Timothy, you guys are leading through and talking over us on the meeting here, just so you know. Hey, Paul.
So Jim, that's 86,400 that we are going to pull into 2020 and spend. Thank
That's
you.
my understanding.
That's correct, Paul.
Okay. All right.
But we don't have everything in this budget, because if we're going to do anything with public works, that's not in this bottom line. And if we're passing it over and saying, oh, that's it, we really don't have everything in this budget at this particular time.
So I simply have not had an opportunity to sit down with Dave, and I'd like to sit down with Dave and the finance director to go over that position, to ensure that we do have the numbers correct. Dave and I had a brief conversation Friday. We went over his numbers, and just haven't had time to really sit down and dive into them. We have requested that the budget committee permit the Board of Selectmen to attend the meeting, and we relocate the technology meeting that same evening so that we can get that all teed up and done. But you're right, Linda. I think we do have a little bit more work to do on that.
So,
Hey, Paul.
So, and by the way, Jim, I think the pickup on health insurance is $8,400. If $134,600 is 8.5%, well, it's like $8,400. So what are we missing? So we've got the budgets for everybody except for Public Works nailed up.
And all those ones he stated to us that have the little asterisk on here. He has
Right. We have the little starred items to be done. Is there anything else?
That's it, Paul. The most of these wage adjustments will be pretty quick to be able to get done. I got the most complicated ones done over the weekend, so those are done and set. So the town clerk is 3 employees there. That'll be pretty quick. There's 1 employee under the tax collector. That'll be pretty quick. I believe there's 2 under, maybe 3 under DPW administration, but that's one we've got to revisit anyways. And the other ones fall under the library trustees and the police commission, and they've been advised to give me their numbers.
So what's your, I'll just finish with this. So Linda makes the point, and I'll make the point too. We still got a lot of, we got this hunk of paper and the attending budget books that still got to get updated for the budget committee, and they're kicking off the dock, pardon the pun, they're kicking off tomorrow night. So what are we going to tell the budget committee about when we're going to land this aircraft?
Well, the budget that the budget committee has right now is landed. Those budgets are done. So that's not an issue. They know that we're going to be systematically getting the bulk of this done. The next meeting is Thursday night with MED. That budget is done. And then the following one is with the police commission. So we basically just have to finalize a couple of these that have the asterisks, get them printed and be done. I am not answering your question, I guess.
No, I think you are, Jim. I think instead of giving them, here's the total budget, here's what the lower right-hand corner is going to look like, what you're doing is you're saying to them, we still got some work to do. Here are the budgets that are completed, and follow along, and we'll get you the lower right-hand corner as soon as we can.
Yeah, and I honestly think that tomorrow, the bulk of these, minus the ones that are under trustees or commissioners, will be done.
Okay. Linda.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying is, what is your projected date that we'll have a absolutely completed spreadsheet here that we know we have all the budgets? One of the budgets that I would like to have once it's updated is the assessing budget. So I know that what the funds are calculated on. You were going to update that. But I think should be a day when we know this is what we passed over to the budget committee. The budget committee can function and go through the budgets, but when are we going to really say, we got it, it's done, it's yours?
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, the healthcare will be done tomorrow. That's just a matter of punching the number in. And again, those other ancillary budgets, short of having an opportunity to sit down with DPW and our finance director to verify the numbers and ensure that we're looking accurate. And I will make that a priority to get done in the next couple of days.
So by the end of the week, we'll have it?
I think that's a reasonable time frame.
Yeah, that's all I was trying to get. Okay, so by Friday, we should have this.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, we just don't want spreadsheets changing in two directions, you know, because then it would, but the budget committee calling us wanting to know what's going on.
Who's that?
Any other questions?
Do you want a motion that we approve the proposed reductions as given to us tonight, Jim?
I would certainly appreciate it.
That's my motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the proposed reductions that Mr. Pino presented to us tonight. Any other discussion on that? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote. Linda?
Yes.
Dave Bowers?
Yes.
Dave Senical?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
And Brad Herman votes yes also. Okay. Do we have anything else on the budget tonight to go over?
That would be it, unless you've got anything that you would like to add or cut.
No, I think those do pretty good, because I did a little math here on that $140,000 reduction, or the numbers you gave us to begin with. That brings us down to $130,000, $666 increase, which would be roughly about a 0.45%. So we're not looking too awful bad here, I don't think.
No,
And
not at all.
we work out some of these other things here that we're talking about, we'll be covered right around that number. So if we don't have any other questions, I'll move on to Paul. Go ahead. Remember, we're going to be off here in half an hour. Sorry, Paul.
Only got
Okay,
half
Paul.
hour.
That's enough.
So when do you think we might have an idea from our finance team as to how we're doing and how we plan to end the year?
So the finance director is currently working on getting you a monthly report for the month of October, which just completed. So she's working on that. We've also got some preliminary information back from the auditors for the 2019 audit. She's going through doing those journal entries as required. So we're shooting for the 18th Board of Selectmen for Kathy to be able to give you a presentation on the status of the 2020 budget.
Because we fund all of these things that we're pulling forward by having some surpluses in the 2020 budget, minus any surprises. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Harriman. I'm done. We can, we're all done now.
No, I'm not done.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Linda, what do you have?
Jim, are we still going to hear from the auditors on the 18th?
I've got to reach out to him, Linda. I think that there's a significant number of journal entries which have to be completed. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to. I'll have an answer for you by the end of the week, whether or not we'll see the auditors on the 18th.
And Kathy has to make all those changes?
Yeah. That is my understanding.
Okay.
This is Kathy. I guess I'll turn on my camera.
Yep.
There is like 9 pages of entries. They did just finish the MS 535 for DRA, so I've got to put in the entries, confirm the 535, and hopefully, as Jim says, on target to be, I will at least be there for the 18th. I'm not sure if the auditors will be ready at that point.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Any other questions on the budgets here this evening? Seeing none, we'll go into public input. Do we have any public input out there this evening? Seeing none, is there anything else the board wants to bring up? We still have about 5 minutes left. That's it, Paul. 5 minutes.
Unless you're gonna make a motion to adjourn, Paul?
I am. I still got 5 minutes to do it. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
We have a motion, a second to adjourn. Any other discussion? Seeing none. Linda?
Yes.
Dave Bowers?
Yes.
Dave Senical?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
And Brad Herron votes yes also. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on a week from Wednesday.
Now, we'll see you tomorrow night, Linda. Bye.
Yes. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.